fucking Leonardo DiCaprio that came out a couple of Christmases ago. The one with the asteroid coming to the Earth, and they were just like, and
Oh, was he
it
in
was
the
like
asteroid movie as well?
yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was him, Jennifer Lawrence. It had a fucking all-star. Timothy Chalamet. A good fucking cast. But it's like there's a comet heading to Earth, and it's like obviously he's like him and Jennifer Lawrence are the only two that are just going, I'm gonna fucking die here, you know that, yeah? Like
Is it called
like,
Don't Look Up, Barry? Don't Look Up?
yes, that's what it's called, yeah. They're like the two of them are just going, we're all gonna fucking die. We need to get like something to destroy this, and like the rest of the world is just going. But does it have like minerals in it?
So to answer your question, why they couldn't just basically essentially tow it away from Earth is one thing. Asteroid is moving. It's supposed to be moving, so you can't like in that principle you can't actually tow it and like stop it from moving because it is moving at its mass is moving at a certain speed. So the amount of force that you would require to get it to stop moving and then propel back is factually impossible unless you essentially had one of the most powerful, like, you know, engines or fusions or warp power that you can do. So we don't have that capability. Bear in mind that this is like modern day like technology here. So this is like whatever they could master, whatever to do in the mid-90s. You know what I mean? Like they can do a space shuttle. They can do whatever they can go up and down to the ISS, and that's it. They don't have anything more than that. So you can imagine by the time that little blip came up in the Borneo like observation station, that could have been a turnaround of maybe a week, 2 weeks, maybe even less.
Yeah.
Every world government is going, oh shit, we're in danger. Maximum resources to find the most qualified people to get a ship that's going to get up there and form and like basically have the plan and the means to get this done. You know, so this is like 72 hours to save the fucking world. Essentially, that's the reality we're looking at here. So, and also that, and again, so the answer to your question is, or rather to have something that's going to tickle your brain for a little bit, why isn't the asteroid moving right now? Because we're just having a nice little coast around the asteroid and is not actually getting any closer to Earth.
I'm assuming it probably is, just, you know, our perspective, I guess. Could have moved 10,000 kilometers, but, you know, it didn't.
But bear in mind that this was on a collision course. This was moving to Earth at a rapid pace.
So
now it's not.
Gravity could be a gravitational field within the asteroid. It's that big.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when you're in space, it's going to look like it's not moving anyway, no?
Not necessarily. See, what will happen is once it gets into the gravitational like pull of the planet, it's going to start tumbling because it's now subject to gravity and it's going to start falling. Like that's why you have the different layers of atmosphere, because then you have you have all these different layers essentially. That's why rockets always find it so difficult to get out of Earth's atmosphere, because again there's a pull against the rocket. That's why you need so much force to break through. Like the next advancement in space technology, again, ideally without fucking Musk at the helm, would be to find a way to get to bypass that level of like resistance, which is like in old like sci-fi vernacular, that was warp power, that was warp speed, and the whole premise behind that is you don't actually move through space, you find a means to move the space around you, and you basically push through, and it's almost like the way it was described is like kind of like following the wake of an underwater current, if you think of it that way. There's enough that technology is actually getting looked at. There are certain like small little aircraft like jet propulsion that is doing ultrasound pulses through air, and the actual plane, the actual like aircraft is not moving, it's pushing the air around it to give the propulsion.
That show, by the way, Rob Lowe, was called You, Me, and the Apocalypse. A great cast. It had Rob Lowe, it had Jenna Fisher, Matthew Bainton, who you probably know as BBC, a lot of the horror history stuff. Yeah, that was what he's mainly known for. Joel Fry, who's one of those British actors that just did stuff on ITV and BBC and stuff. Peterson Joseph. Anybody know who Peterson Joseph is?
Not offhand.
Peterson Joseph is most famously from Peep Show. Let me just get what his name was because I have forgotten it. Could be the fact that I have no sleep last night. Give me 1 second. There now. Johnson Beetle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And also played the Jamaican lad, the Yardy in the Name of the Fall.
Oh, fair enough.
You had Brona Gallagher, Megan Mullally, Pauline Quirk. It was a decent cast, to be fair. Good too. There was rumours, alright, they were going to do a second season of it because they kind of end on partially a cliffhanger. But they never got around to it. I also found out recently that Lazarus isn't coming around him too, which is apparently that's been shelved for an indefinite amount of time, possibly ever.
I'm not surprised, in fairness. Like, it's kind of hard to go back to something like that after so long, and like all the actors have gone substantially older since then. So,
Yeah, that is true.
What years have come out?
What?
The
Apocalypse 2015.
Oh, right. Okay.
Might be on the stick, actually. Might be. I don't know. The Guy 1 and CBS kind of joint venture.
Right, there they go. Hey.
Let's head back to the shuttle and watch Attila do the old fire dance.
Like, the only thing I can imagine, by the way, is that this is aliens. This is the most logical step I can think of. Because, well,
it's a spaceship in disguise.
It's a spaceship in disguise. It's also in the 90s. Alien.
Right.
Predator. And also, it'd be pretty fucking boring if the whole game was just you blowing up a fucking asteroid, and then that was it.
Did this really take 4.5 hours? And
4.5. You just see 4.5 hours of the asteroid just going.
I'm glad that you're using your back scratcher as a prop here. This is.
Let me tell you something.
I'm telling you. Take my strong hand. Take my strong hand. That's coming back.
Evan and Dave are debuting a new tag team, by the way, in OTT called the Back Scratcher Boys.
No back scratcher, huh?
We are so over.
Looks good, boss. Come on back inside.
Just everyone in the front row just going, oh, it's lovely. That's a
like part of our entrance is that we relieve people of their itches.
Okay, here we go, lads. ILM's finest. Here we go.
All clear, shuttle.
Oh, look at that.
Confirmed doors closed.
Bear in mind, this is all on one CD as well.
It's such a beautiful game. Like when you get the cinematics like that. For its time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's very heavily compressed, but again, the everything I think is pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think they only managed. They actually was able to get it to keep it to just the one disc. I think.
The explosives armed. Houston gives us the go-ahead. Say when, boss.
They blow it up and it's a giant
Now let's see.
lizard. It's a snake. It's a snake.
I love that you ran out of words there. It's a giant lizard.
Snake.
It's starfish.
It's the
It's starfish from fucking the sequel to Suicide Squad. The half sequel. Where James Gunn was just like, you didn't like the first one, that's fine. We'll kill off everyone in 5 minutes. If we would just Harley Quinn and Rick Flag. Happy now?
Radioactivity in quadrant 1 is well within the safe range.
What does Houston say, Ken? Everything's go.
Now it's really close to Earth.
Your option.
But it was in the last round.
Let's see what Attila looks like after plastic surgery.
Yeah, it's definitely the Star Wars snake when they land the Millennium Falcon and it's definitely Star Wars snake.
Oh yeah. So this part were very clever. Like they never actually indirectly made like say overtures to like say like we didn't bend over backwards to put in like Star Wars stuff or whatever, but they put in gags. They put in little hat tips and stuff like that. It's like in Monkey Island, you might find a fucking stormtrooper's helmet or some shit like that, or they did like an Indiana Jones like gag in the second game, stuff like that. it's like it is a bit, and again, Monkey Island gets away because it's a comedy game. The Dig is one of the few games in their back catalog that is not actually a comedy. It is a it is a mystery. It's a sci-fi game. But obviously, and it's actually probably one of the most serious games they have. Every other LucasArts game has at least some degree of comedy to it. But I say between this and Loom are probably its more serious outfits.
Look at that.
Do you know what I always think of now when I think of like, you know, space and like how the fact that we're getting closer and closer where we can just do space travel is just like a thing that we
The
do.
tourist thing at the minute, like
Tourist thing.
Virgin Atlantic and
Remember when
Virgin Galactic and
Yeah.
what was it Jeff Bezos going up
Yeah.
to space with William Shatner and William Shatner coming down going, I was one of the most profound things that I've ever done. Just Jeff Bezos with a bottle of champagne going, like, he's just there contemplating everything he's gone through in his 90 odd years of life. You know, and it's just Jeff Bezos with champagne. Some of them going, what insignificant. This is just
That's why I'll always have time for William Shatner in a sense, because like while he is, I think he gets a bad rap because of like the season shoot every now and then.
Yeah.
And again, he had in his younger days he had a bad reputation on sets and stuff like that. But he seems to have at least tried to make amends to a degree. Like he had like his own show for a long time, and he invited some of his own old colleagues on, like George Takei and stuff like that. Apparently, George Takei said he was very homophobic once upon a time, and
Yeah.
he had George Takei on the show, and like he looked genuinely like appalled at his old conduct. Like he this is not how he remembered it,
Yeah.
in a sense. And apparently, since then, it's just gone on like a journey of like, you know, atonement to that degree. But like,
Then he does all that journey of atonement, then he does Boston Legal, which is like, remember all the shit you used to probably do in the 70s and 60s? That's your character now, but you're a lawyer.
yeah, do you know what? Isn't that a good character to play? Because like, if you were that asshole once upon a time, you know how.
You know how to
that's-
do like Boston Legal is a great show. So that's,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's a good reflection of yourself in a sense. But like but even then, like that's kind of a perfect example, because like, you know, like it cannot be exaggerated how much that original crew of the Star Trek inspired people to go into space.
Yeah.
Like famously, like, and now like Starkner not so much, but Michelle Nichols in particular is huge. Is very influential for women to get into engineering, and also for the black community to get involved in space engineering as well. Famously, when I think there was always issues on set anyway, because like, yeah, TV people, producers, men always fucking ruin everything. And Michelle Nichols was getting into trouble. It wasn't looking likely that Michelle Nichols was going to continue on Star Trek. And genuinely, the first person that pulled her up on it and said you should continue was Martin Luther King. Because at the time, Michelle Nichols was one of the only visible black people on television. And not only that, but she was also treated as an equal to all of her other colleagues. She was a big part of that operation, in the same way that like at that time you had a Japanese man and a Russian also on the same crew as equals. Bear in mind, like when Star Trek was made, like America was only 15 years removed from putting Japanese people into concentration camps in America.
Of which George Takei was in them.
George Takei's father, George Takei's father had a successful business. It was all taken away from him because he looked Japanese. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like that was the difference. The social like influence of science fiction, because like it's always a reflection of contemporary society, just thrown up into this kind of like, you know, into this different altered state. Whereas sometimes, and outside the joy of science fiction, then it's just like, do you know what? Let's just have a fun adventure in space, and that's what Star Wars is. So you can have both. You can have social commentary, or you can have a fun romp. You can have both flavors, both at the same time.
It's a small dark opening.
So this is where you start realizing. This is where things are starting to get interesting, because as Brink noticed, these little things that are in the stone could not have been formed naturally.
Frank, I wish I knew what these odd
I have
projections
taken pictures for analysis.
I've taken pictures of them for analysis.
I'm
You have to-
I can't go any
I'm
further.
assuming, Jonathan, you know the reason why Star Trek was on the air for as long as it was.
What's
The main
that?
driving. I'm assuming you know why Star Trek was on the air for as long as it was, and the main driving, the person who basically was like, if you don't want to keep it on, I quit.
I do know the story about Lucille Ball. Yeah.
Yeah, Lou, do you know that as well, Dave? Do you? Lucille Ball is the main reason why Star Trek was on TV. And they were going to cancel it. I think after like not even after not even like they weren't even going to finish the first season. They should have like cancel it and I'll quit CBS or NBC or whatever she was on. Paramount, yeah. And it's like, well, she's kind of the biggest thing we have. So, all right,
yeah.
then, I suppose.
Again, but she did it for the exact same reasons. The fact that like it was one of the few shows at the time that was treating men and women as equals. And even then, if you look at Star Trek, the original series now, like, geez, they're still quite misogynist. But that was huge for the time. Like, it cannot be exaggerated that like that the women actually had jobs. They were either engineers or there could be security or doctors or nurses or whatever, and not treated as fucking sex objects.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Here's number 3. It disappeared too.
So yes.
Do you know I'm in the middle of what I think is a meteor, right? And then I push something and a perfectly shaped square or triangle goes in. I'm getting the fuck out of there. I'm like, lads, do you know what? I don't care what's in there. I couldn't give a fuck. I'd like to be with my family because I think it's probably going to kill us in the next hour or two. And I kind of want to be on that when that happens.
Which begs the question then, why is Boston plowing ahead?
Maybe he's depressed and this is a way of getting out of it.
Like, I have no family. I want to meet the aliens instead.
I mean, I could just put a fucking bullet in my brain, but this would make it look like I actually got killed. Fucking, you know,
honorable death.
Still gets the benefits.
Yeah. He's having his cake and eating it too.
Yes.
Let's go down the big giant hole.
That's what I'm saying, man. Why are you going down the big giant hole?
Because we want to find out. We're curious beings, Aaron.
Yes.
Unlike Cork people who are setting away and don't know anything new. Right. What can we find here? Ooh.
Check this shit out.
Big square. Hello.
2D sprites in a 3D plane. Wow.
Sights.
Static. Must be all this rock. We're cut off. Should we go back outside and call them?
Nah, they can sit tight.
But now there's radio interference now because of all the rock.
Load a break. Come in, break. Break here. I read you.
Yeah, you're right beside him. Got you beat him.
Does this make any sense to you?
I mean, if we can't hear him, we can just go.
Shaped as a dodecahedron, but I have no idea why.
It is a dodecahedron. I do not know why.
More than we ever expected.
I'm excited, actually. Me and Chloe have gotten, she's gone well into the
I
orbit.
am a geologist.
Ready to
yes.
finish
Ah,
that.
the Orville's good. The Orville's very good. We have actually on our next episode of what we watching, I am going to do a bit of a deep dive on Deep Space Nine because it is extremely topical right now.
What do you think of our star reporter?
For what reason?
Very unorthodox.
Cardassia and Bajor is an analog of Israel and Palestine.
She is very capable, and she writes interesting
As
stories.
subtle as the episode of Tom studying for the film they had the Israeli fella by the village next door.
It is an extreme. And what's very interesting is that considering the main producer of the show at the time is Jewish, the very nuanced and very interesting take on it.
Oh, okay. Actually, bad news. I should have mentioned this at the start, but I didn't. I'm not going to get to Survivor Series.
Unless we do.
That's right. Let's start there.
Right, I should have mentioned that at the time.
Why can't
Actually,
you
use
go?
off the channel progresses a year.
Because it's obviously Black Friday, or
Yeah.
in the States it's Black Week, which we've
But
mentioned
that's
many
a-
times.
That's a topical choice for wording, is it not?
That's one choice of word. Yeah.
I'm not even joking, right? Our manager Chris said it to us. He was like, "Yeah, so on Black Week," and the whole arm was went. There was
So are you going to change your logo to black instead of white, or
the whole site at the moment. If you check it right now, is black and blue. It's actually very appealing. I actually want them to keep it that way because it's very easy on the eyes. It's objective. Much more than the trending white.
So yeah, now see, the thing is, like, see, that's the thing with color schemes. That's immediately whenever a website does that, I immediately affiliate it with a football team. So like, it was like
Inter Milan.
it's-
You've gone into Milan.
Shallow end
no,
Yeah.
Inter Milan or Atalanta, or if you want to go really exotic, Athlone Town.
Ooh. Oh well.
Three European giants there, lads.
But we're doing basically the same work. We're doing the whole week. We're not taking the day off this week. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, tomorrow I can get a switch to Saturday. But no one wants to give up their Saturday night. Fair.
Robbins, this is low. Do you read?
Well, you let me know what the final score is, and we'll go from there.
I'll know tomorrow by about 10 o'clock.
Fair enough. And if not, then I will find an adequate replacement. I will find another Cork person and invite them instead.
You have a better idea?
Let's be real, you won't, because I'm the only Cork person you know.
That square indentation.
Yeah, so I'll probably give it a turn.
It's nothing a quick tweet or a blue sky message can't
Only one way to
attract.
find out.